Hello and welcome to the ASUS ROG DreamLeague. It is already the last day of Season 3 here at DreamHack Summer live in Hall B in Jönköping. And we are ready for 2 best of 5s today. And as we can see, the teams are already ready sitting on stage. But let's first take a look at which matches we have in store for you today. Our first best of 5 series is the lower bracket finals. The winner will move on to the finals. The loser will be 3rd place. It is a Virtus Pro taking on Ninjas in Pajamas. And then the winner of that in the grand finals will have the honor of facing Navi in what is also a best of 5. So a long day, perhaps, depending on if we can actually have 10 games here coming out today. And of course, I am joined on the couch with the people with whom it all began. Andy, Owen, Shane, how are we doing?
It's actually weird, because like the whole time we've been doing it at the LAN Finals, we've never had all of us on the couch at the same time.
Yeah.
Is that actually?
That's true.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were casting first, weren't you? Yeah.
It's good to be back.
Feels right.
It does.
Good journey. Last 8 weeks, honestly.
Yeah. It's kind of sad that it's coming to an end, but I'm kind of also really excited about the games today. So.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think the first series, it's going to be, can they prove themselves? Can they take down VP? I mean, obviously, the first time these 2 teams met, it was a little bit one-sided, but hopefully for NIP, they can bring their A game today.
Yeah, I think that's the great thing about the first game, the fact that if VP win, we know we're going to have an explosive final, but if NIP are able to take it, the crowd's going to be wild, and you know, if NIP can take down VP, they've very much got a chance against Navi in the final, but it's going to be a hard road for NIP, no doubt about it.
I think so too, and of course the road was indeed pretty difficult for both teams actually, and that was yesterday. Yesterday we had 4 best of 3 games. We were here for about 14 hours in the studio, and the players were here until 3 a.m. I want to say, something like that. But they're ready to show it. But we could actually take a look at yesterday's games in 14 hours put together in about 2 minutes of recap. So let's take a look at that.
Of them. And like you said, Swap's gonna bring out here immediate self-Yules, but is he on the wrong side? BKB being used. The Echo is gonna come out. No! Huge damage output here. Meanwhile, Ake on the back line taking a ton of damage, and that big bad wolf, he's heroes alive 1 at a time. Buyback coming out from the Bane. I'm not sure if that's gonna do anything. Volt's dropping low, his BKB's running out. Fissure hits on everybody. Huge blink in from Soneko. No Enchanto to follow up. Everybody's dropping low. Then he finds yet another kill.
Illidan, he's going deep. He's going to ham onto Era. Yonason fan here with the Supernova. Can they trap Gino? G's going to be able to walk himself out of this one. They have killed Illidan though, and that's a big kill. This is great for NIP, but now the Echo Slam onto 3, and now the stolen Supernova with the Axe upgrade, bringing the Earthshaker in, keeping him safe. G just cleaning up from the outside, finding a triple kill, and NIP, they're 3 heroes down without buyback. Make that 4. GG, well played is called.
He's gonna go in, and looks like Fly might be a little bit of trouble. He does have BKB, but he's fighting essentially everybody now.
Era's trying to go for this, but now Matt with the Black Hole. It's going to get cancelled though by the vacuum, and now Limconia with the crush. Era doing so much damage in this fight with the razors and everything. Pycast still alive. He will finally drop. Ake pops down the death ward. It doesn't matter as Era cleans him up as well. There's going to be a buyback for Lesh. There's going to be the Nightmare holding back Loader, and they're doing exactly what they said. You said, Luma. They're trying to fight around Loader. They're killing everyone else. They take down Mad here. Bulldogs return. But I mean, the NIP, they take down 2. They force out a buyback.
It even goes back to that early game where Soneko was able to have an impact on the mid so heavily. Volts is going to eat a stun here. Both teams kind of just trading harass at the time being. Torrent's going to be off the mark. Dendi going for the siege. Funny goes in. Burrow strike on 2. Fissure to follow it up.
Goodbye.
Not even time for BKBs. Artstyle's going to eat a boat here, but he'll be fine. Funnick going for the epicenter now. He's just going to spend it on FNG. 4 steps forward into a blink, into another double burrow. Can anyone stop Funnick in this game?
Over.
This Sand King.
Yeah, what a day yesterday. Amazing games. I feel like we kind of saved the best for last yesterday with the winners bracket finals between Virtus Pro and Navi. Definitely an exciting series. But I think the Ninjas in Pajamas, they want to get some revenge from yesterday.
Yeah, we saw a little clip there of them playing the like Shadow Fiend and the Slider together, and they were just like fighting so well in them games. And against a team like VP, like you just have to bring the fight to them. Like you can't be passive because they will just walk all over you. Look.
Yeah, I think the most important thing that if NIP learned anything yesterday, it's that VP are never going to stop.
No.
They're always going to be running at you. And even in the last series of the day when they were playing up against VP and Na'Vi, it's like you just saw action all the time. So if you go into the series expecting anything else, you're going to have a bad time. And I think that NIP had learned a valuable lesson playing them yesterday. I think they're going to have a much better chance today than they would have otherwise.
I think so too. Yesterday we also had to, of course, say goodbye to Alliance, who came fourth here at the ASUS ROG DreamLeague. Ninjas in Pajamas, proven to be the top Swedish team. I want to say though, Ninjas in Pajamas in that third game had a pretty tough game. It was a really rough road trying to beat the Loda Naga Siren with the Octarine.
Yeah, there was a stage in that game where you could kind of see like the panic behind them. They're like, okay, Naga is kind of getting farmed. Let's all kind of go Midases and hope for late game. But in the end, it actually paid off, and they just played so well. Like, you can see the reaction there from their manager.
It meant so much for the teams as well. I mean, you're fighting for the Swedish crowd right here, and they were insanely happy. And I think a gigantic relief for NIP to be able to do it again. Obviously, last week they had the same finals.
Here is that, like the support they have from their family and all. It's really amazing to see.
It is. With yesterday's games being played, by the way, we can actually take a look at the brackets to see what it looks like right now and have a bit of a clearer view of what we're going to see today. So there's only 3 teams left in 2 series, with our first one being the lower bracket final. So the fight to be top 2, or the fight to be 3rd place, if you will. Virtus.pro taking on Ninjas in Pajamas, and then the winner of that up against Na'Vi, who yesterday were able to beat Virtus.pro in the winners bracket finals. I'm expecting explosive games. CAS Dota, time to embrace it, right?
Yeah, Zillidan said, like, I think it all comes down to how they draft for Jonas and Fan. Like, I think he needs,
really does.
like, in the games they played against VP yesterday, he played like a Warlock and a Phoenix. And like these kind of heroes, they can't really deal with the early aggression. He just kind of got zoned out in both games.
I really feel like he just always excels on the puck and the axe, but he gets banned out every time. They always leave Jonas and Fans here till pretty much the final pick in the draft, which is understandable, being the offlaner, but it means he doesn't get the axe, he doesn't get the puck. I really like what they did in the game yesterday, where they were able to get, you know, the limp onto the Slardar.
Yes.
You know, where instead of having Jonas and Fan on a hero like they actually, because they couldn't, they decided to get limp on the playmaker, and having Slardar in that position 1 allowed NIP to kind of get that momentum going and start to fight early with Era on the Shadow Fiend in the mid lane, getting the mech grouping up and looking for the action that NIP, they're really revel on. If they can get the action going, it's very hard for the other team to stop them.
Yeah, I think that is the main point, being able to be the first team to actually get the action going. I think the team that has the most aggressive lineup in that case has a bit of an up in terms of the game, taking the game.
I mean, I watched VP play yesterday against Na'Vi, and they were behind in the start in all 3 games.
This is true.
And VP still managed. They just, I don't understand. Like, Chico's 0-4 on the track in like the first 6 minutes of the game, comes back with a 17-minute Bloodstone and just crushes. Like, how do you deal with that?
Do you feel like that was, though, Virtus.pro actually like playing very, very good, not making any mistakes, or was there also some mistakes being made on the side of Na'Vi, allowing for that comeback?
In those kind of games, there are a lot of very small mistakes, but because there was so much skirmishing, it just has a tendency to happen, you know? And I also think that when you're on LAN, teams have a tendency to elevate themselves. Like when you're playing against a really strong opponent, sometimes you just play a bit better than you would normally. And I think that's kind of what we were seeing in some of those fights too, because even in the most hectic of situations, it seemed like every player had a very clear mindset of, this is what I need to do in this fight, this is what's important, and it just made the series a blast to watch. So even if NIP come out swinging, don't expect VP to do anything less.
I'm not. I mean, CAS Dota, we saw yesterday G Bristleback. I'm kind of hoping that we're going to see that again, because that just allows Virtus.pro to just, you know, G will run and he will fight, and the rest will just group up behind him. It's like, okay, G's going, guys. We have to go too, and that's just, I think, a recipe to success for them.
I think Lil is probably the key hero in like all of their games. Like his visage, just like. Do you remember the gank bottom, Andy? When there was like 3 people trying to gank him, and he just like uses the bird.
He got a triple stun,
and then gets the.
I was like, okay, he's like, he has to die here, right?
Yeah.
Because he's like stuck in the side by the side shop, and there's 3 heroes, and all of a sudden he just walks away with 2. I'm just like, what? I don't know. It was insane.
His visage is banned out a lot, though.
Yeah.
As well. We haven't seen that many Drow Ranger. Now the hero that I keep mentioning the hero because I really think that in the current fighting kind of meta we're in, or at least that these teams seem to be in, I feel like Bounty Hunter. Where is the Bounty Hunter? Don't you want to have a Bounty Hunter on your team if you're fighting the whole time?
I'd love to see the Funnick bounty hunter come out.
Yeah.
You know, he can make magical things happen on that hero. And we have seen the power of the bounty hunter in previous tournaments, not so much this one at all.
DK Phobos bounty hunter as well.
Exactly. You know, I think there's potential. Maybe they'll pick it up. And again, in regards to the Drow Ranger, I know that Era sometimes for NIP, he does pick it up if they want to go for that kind of lineup. We've seen them go for the pushing strats elsewise with the Pugner for Era and putting in the very aggressive early heroes like the Undying. So, you know, maybe we will see those heroes come out today.
Now, NIP is the underdog in this series. I think we all can agree on that one. How do you feel like they're going to approach it? I mean, they're going to stick to their own plan, which is the advice that I think most people would give them. How far do you think they're going to go with reactive drafting in this case?
I think playing reactionary Dota against VP is playing losing Dota. Like, I don't think that sitting back and trying to wait to see something and to say, okay, now we can go, I think that's like the worst way to play against a team who's always going to be taking incentives. Like, take, for example, against Alliance yesterday when they were playing against the Naga Siren. Their option was to buy 4 Midases.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it worked, right?
Yeah.
Like, the idea behind it is sound. The logic is there. It's like, okay, well, if we don't know we can crack the base, we'll just buy Midases and try to at least out-farm. But you will not be able to get away with stuff like that against VP. If you're ever in a situation where you're doubting if you can take fights, VP will just take the fight to you. You're not going to get that chance to rest.
I think one of the key things as well is locking down the supports of VP, because they rotate so well and they put pressure on all the lanes. So if you have like an offensive tri lane to try and pin them down, because NIP are very, very good with their offensive tri lanes, with their gyrocopter, these kind of early game fighting heroes. If you can get the supports in and get Limp his mid lane farm and Jonas from maybe like safe lane farm, and let them kind of take control of the game, like I think it's pretty key for me.
Well, it is time to welcome the teams up on stage because, of course, we are live here at the venue. So let's welcome Virtus Pro onto the stage here at DreamHack Summer. And there they are. Virtus Pro, they've got the luxury of making it through day 2 without actually doing anything in day 1 because they came top 2 in the group stages.
Yesterday they had their NIP's number. They knew exactly how to play against them.
Yeah, quick 2-0.
Yeah, let's see if we see that again today. Like, they look very confident. Illidan with a smile.
He always seems to be smiling, actually.
Yeah.
A very happy disposition, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Illidan Storm Rage, not that much range in there. And of course, on the offlaner for Virtus Pro, it is DK Phobos. I really hope we're gonna see his bounty hunter. I mean, I keep saying it. I keep breathing it.
I want the Centaur. DK Phobos' Centaur yesterday in the games against NIP. He had such a high impact.
Yeah.
Here we have G.
The monster of middle lane.
The monster. It doesn't matter which hero he gets either.
Na'Vi respect his middle lane so much that they actually just sat on him over and over again. And of course, now we have team captain here / drafter FNG. Been a real big fan of his drafts ever since the beginning of DreamLeague.
Yeah.
Lil, the Visage picker.
He just asked on FNG, can I play Visage? I can do this, I can do this. And FNG said, sure, why not?
Especially in these early game aggression games, you know, having the soul assumption for that burst damage in these crazy fights. Illidan Storm Rage. Honestly, like when he gets these heroes like Weaver, Slark that can just kind of overextend and go crazy, like it has to be one of the most terrifying things to play against.
Yeah, this Weaver yesterday, like he didn't die until like 20-something minutes.
Yeah, he was 11-0.
Yeah.
Now he was up against a Phoenix, and the enemy team didn't have a lot of lockdown, so he got a bit of help there with the draft. And I think, I mean, in regards to that, last picks in drafts, that's going to be so important this series and the next series as well. Just today, overall, it had been having such a big impact.
Especially for Na'Vi, like they were last picking like Chen, Broodmother, these kind of like, and they had such huge impact with their last picks, like in every game.
I think the patch is at that stage right now where every single team kind of picks similar heroes in the first 2 or 3, and most of the time you either have like 2 ways of drafting. You say, okay, well, we're going to either show our game plan early, or we're going to wait for the last pick and try to throw a wrench in what the other team's plan is. And that's when you see like the Chen and the Broodmother last pick. Other times, we've even seen stuff like 3rd pick Anti-Mage, which ends up working out in a crazy situation. I think it was Burden who did that, right?
And Nip as well.
Yeah, Nip have also picked Anti-Mage, but I think it's really interesting because every single time I see a draft where I see like Leshrac Gyro very early on, those lineups have a tendency to win just because they're so good at being able to set up strong lanes like 100% of the time. But every once in a while you just get that last pick and it's just, uh-oh, what do we do against this?
Panic, boys.
Yeah.
Well, it's time to welcome in the Swedish crowd favorite. The Swedish hope for today, NIP, is ready to take the stage. And NIP had a bit of a more rough road to get where they are today. They had a really long day on Saturday, first playing in the Swedish Championships and then getting knocked down by Navi through the lower bracket, making it through the lower bracket against Brno United as well as basically unknown, and having just a really long day of games. Yesterday, got knocked down. It was Virtus.pro that did it, but I think they're really hungry for revenge.
Yeah, they showed in the games against Alliance they can really fight, you know, they're not afraid. They have kind of different types of draft. We talked to Hanskin yesterday. He said, did he give us an inkling that maybe they'll pick the Chen, or?
I hope so. I hope so. I actually hope that Jonas Fan gets to play as Queen of Pain. I want the
axe.
We're
Come
gonna
on,
have the axe.
the man has his axe.
We all want the axe.
I just want the Queen of Pain. Although Era also plays a pretty mean Queen of Pain. Limp, of course. I mean, you keep mentioning Jonas and Fan on the puck. Limp's puck, though.
Oh man, 70% win rate. Like.
Oy.
Hanskin, the glove.
The disruptor.
The disruptor. Honestly, his glimpses in that game against Alliance, like single-handedly won him the game.
Yes, 100%. Era. The most versatile carry, one of the most versatile carries here for sure.
Has like the best KDA in the entire tournament as well.
We saw his Huskar a few weeks ago. And of course, Sukit, the person that does most with least farm.
He does not know the concept of gold, and he doesn't need it either.
He did get a Midas yesterday. I think, like,
maybe that was
Christmas.
like the first time Steel Kids ever bought a Midas in a competitive game or something like that.
You don't
like
even
poor
need to
guy
look at
never
the
gets.
stats.
He never gets anything.
No.
Era's just like, stand aside. This is my farm.
He has like 12% of all teams farm. Like it's the lowest in the tournament. Like what the hell?
It's pretty crazy. We can actually take a look at Ninjas in Pajamas team stats and see what are their most picked and most banned against them heroes here. And the Axe is one of their most preferred picks.
No surprise there. Like
no
Jonas and
surprise.
Van. Oh man.
Now, I really, like, the most banned against Nip is still the Chen, but, I mean, this patch, it's not great. 0-3.
They've also changed up their drafting as well, like in general.
Yeah.
So it's not really unexpected to see a team go from one very heavily favored strategy to another, especially when you, like, every single player has a different mentality on how they go about drafting the game. So that's not too much of a shock in of itself, but I'd say right now what they're doing is working.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can continue that little streak up against VP here.
Yeah, Hanskin said they were kind of in a bit of a slump, and they just needed just like a fresh look out on the draft. You know what I mean? So, Era took it up, and he's doing very well so far.
Yeah. It is. It's definitely doing them good. We can also take a look at the most picked and most preferred bans on the side of Virtus.pro, who are sitting on the left of the stage. And the Winter Riven keeps coming back now. We already said yesterday, Navi and Virtus.pro are the teams that like Winter Riven most teams. But I don't think we've seen Winter Riven for Virtus.pro this tournament yet. I mean, it's banned against them.
Yeah, it is. Like, honestly, FNG on that hero, they just know how to play around it and draft around it so well. And it's kind of a hero that you need a specific player that knows the hero that well. Like, it's not like something you can just kind of pick up like a shadow team and that kind of hero. You need to understand it very, very well.
And you need to pretty much stay on the outskirts of the fight 24/7.
Yeah.
I'd say Saneko from Navi, he's obviously very, very good on the hero. So I think more importantly for VP, it's not just the Wyvern though, it's the synergy between them being able to get things like Bounty Hunter and Wyvern together.
Yeah.
I think that's when they actually have the best opportunities to make things happen during the early game and just try to snowball based off that. But just in general, I think the hero is something that a lot of teams are going to have to start adapting to, because I think it's insanely strong in pretty much every draft. Like, that's what makes the support so good, is he's not a bad laner. He also has tremendous mid game, and his scaling isn't too shabby either.
The BKB piercing ulti as well. Like, late game, that can be just huge. It turns fights completely.
If we're talking about a Weaver earlier, by the way, we just saw the win rate for FNG's Treant Protector pretty damn high, 73% or so. Are we going to see the Treant Protector we saw yesterday in a game, I believe, on the side of Alliance?
That didn't work out for them.
Did not work out for them.
That was against like a pushing strategy, which NiP have shown that they really like to do. They like the Undying Pugna.
Yeah.
But they tried it against VP yesterday, and VP picked Tusk for Lil, and he just went ham.
That team actually had no disables.
Yeah.
So as soon as you see the snowball, you're just like,
run.
We're dead. It was not
Run.
a very nice game for NiP, but I just think that goes to show that VP, and especially FNG as a drafter, he just has tremendous versatility. He knows the ins and outs of like every single lineup, what it's weak against, what it's good against. Or maybe he just goes with the standard, I don't know, I just pick heroes.
Honestly, I think that's a lot down to the team and how experienced each player is.
Yeah.
You know, like having a team like that as a drafter has to allow you just so much freedom, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, Tusk could work really here, and oh yeah, Lil, you're ridiculously good at Tusk, so that'll work.
Yeah, it must be nice to play with a team who actually has such a wide variety of things that they are capable of playing. I think that's going to be a must, especially getting closer and closer to TI. Like if you don't have a huge hero pool, you are almost a liability to your team, I feel.
Yesterday we saw Virtus.pro up against the final lineup of Na'Vi, and they picked Razor. We haven't seen Razor that much, but Razor worked out for them. That was the game that they won against Na'Vi. How much do you think we're going to see a Razor this series?
I think it was a very situational pick. They kind of knew at that point that there was going to be potential for a tri-lane versus tri-lane clash, and that the Nyx was going to be solo. And it ended up just being, okay, well, Razor kind of crushes melee heroes in 1v1, and he knows there's not going to be any outside help. So again, I think that's just more foresight than anything else. Just realizing that, this would actually fit very nicely here, and we can guarantee a lane win. And of course, they did win that game too.
It worked out, indeed. Lim's Batrider, by the way, I haven't seen that in a little while, but it is also a hero that is very good in fighting. And most of all, if you're going to fight, there's a couple of things that are most important. Obviously, vision is very important. Initiation, very important. Batrider kind of offers a little bit of both. And putting your enemy out of position. So something we might see?
He's actually been flying a little bit under the radar recently.
Yeah.
Like, not a lot of teams are prioritizing him that highly.
Does it take too long to get him online?
It doesn't actually take that long. It's kind of similar to what a Sand King does now. The only difference is Batrider used to be a significantly better laner than he is now.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the main thing, is a lot of teams focus on the early game lanes. You see a lot of rotations, or you just see like static lanes that are really, really strong.
I think the drafts these days as well, there's a lot of Earthshaker, a lot of Disruptor, Shadow Demon, and
Yeah,
all
all own him.
Yeah, exactly. They destroy Batrider completely. So
I'm going to ask you, what do you think? What kind of score is it going to be? I mean, we all know Virtus.pro is the preferred pick, and on paper, they should in theory win. But NIP, fighting spirit is there. They were able to study Virtus.pro yesterday. The underdog, can they do it? Cinderella story?
Do you want me to go first, Shane?
yes.
Okay, so I know there's a lot of NIP fans in the crowd, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have to say, I think it's going to be VP 3-1.
3-1?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Owen?
I'm going to say 3-1, but I'm not going to be surprised if it's 3-0. You know, it'd be great if NIP can pull it off, but just from what we've seen from VP so far, the fact that they can go toe-to-toe with Na'Vi, and the fact that obviously when VP met with NIP before, it wasn't pretty for the Swedes. It's NIP are going to have to need to have woken up today as kind of a new and improved NIP that's ready to take down VP if they want to take a game with these guys, because VP, they're pretty damn scary.
All right, so I guess I'm going for Nip, all right? I honestly think if Nip bring the game they brought to Alliance, they bring this kind of fighting style, they bring this Lardar, they bring these kind of mid-game fighting heroes, and they actually man up to VP, they can do it. But it'll be difficult, so I'm going to say 3-2. Like, it's going to be a fight for them, you know what I mean, if they're going to do it.
I think so. If NIP is going to win, it's going to be a 5-game series, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think the game that Virtus.pro would win are fairly fast. I think the games that NIP would win are fairly long in comparison, at least. I actually also favor Virtus.pro in this series, though. They have shown such great games so far in this tournament. And yes, NIP did fight really well against Alliance yesterday, but they were also a bit more experienced against Alliance.
That's true.
So I think Virtus.pro is going to take it. I am going to give a game to Nip, though, 3-1. I'm going to join Andy in that one. But yeah, I do stick with NIP being the underdog. Before we actually go into the series, by the way, you have a chance to win something if you go to facebook.com/ROGNordic, and Shane can show you what you can win. Facebook.com/ROGNordic, you can go there and fill in your MVP of this DreamHack Summer for Dota, by the way, for the games. It has to be a Dota 2 player. Let's put that in there too. It is a gaming PC notebook.
Help me, Owen. Use your hands. Like,
No.
no. Is it soft?
Oh, it's getting a little bit harder now.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so you can win that, filling your MVP, and at the end of the day, it will be decided by ASUS who actually wins the laptop. Now, if you want to win even more prizes or have the chance to win even more prizes, you can go to roc.gg/DreamLeague, and there's multiple questionnaires there, and you can win multiple Rocket prizes. So definitely check that out as well. I think it's time. I think it's time for our first of 2 best of 5 series. It's going to be Virtus Pro versus Ninjas in Pajamas with Luminous and Synderen.